Joining us now is Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. He's a Republican and in a battleground state that also has one of the most efficient voting procedures in the country. Thank you very much for coming on the program. We appreciate it. So before we look forward, let's just look back. Was that Associated Press investigation that found at the end of 2021 about 64 cases across 20 counties in Georgia about right with regard to what you guys found with votes that should not have been counted?
Well, good afternoon. I'd have to go back through it, but if you say we had probably about 5 double voters, probably, I think it was 9 total dead voters. And then if you look at 10 felons voted, that's about 25. And there's probably another handful of minor things. So I think it is less than 64. But at the end of the day, it obviously didn't affect the way the election went. And that's what we were saying since day one, that when we were sued, they said there's 66,000 underage voters. We said 0, things like that. And at the end of the day, people have objectively looked at it and found out we were much closer to the real number. If it's 25 or it's 64, that's a lot closer than 12,000.
And the 64 was the total number, I think, at the end of 2021. You guys further investigated, and probably the answer is closer to what you're talking about. But that's the broader point here. And, you know, as we prepare for 2024, what do you say to fellow Republicans who are saying, you know, I don't trust this. I think there's going to be fraud again in Georgia. I'm worried about how they're doing what they're doing. What do you say?
Well, number one, I remind every voter that I've actually done 2 signature audits. I've done 2 audits of our voter rolls for citizenship. And so we've actually did our first one about 4 months ago, and we found about 1,600 people who attempted to register but weren't put on the voter rolls. That's important to know. And then we just finished up our second citizenship verification, and we found 20 voters that were non-citizens. And we then kicked them off the voter rolls, and then we also forward those 20 names to local prosecuting attorneys so they can handle it, because it is a felony in Georgia. We have another 156 that we can't ascertain if they're citizens or not. We have to then do a one-on-one discussion with them. But we have clean voter rolls. We've checked all the citizenship. But we also let people know we have photo ID for all forms of voting. Absentee voting is supported with photo ID, driver's license number, and that really has shored up people's confidence in that process.
There is a video circulating on social media which appeared to show a Haitian immigrant with multiple Georgia IDs who said that he voted more than once. I want to play a little piece of this, and then I'd like you to respond.
We are from Haiti. We came to America 6 months ago, and we already have our American citizenship. We are voting Kamala Harris. Yesterday we voted in Gwinnett County, and today we are voting in Fulton County. We have all our documents, driver's license. We invite all 18s to come to America and bring families.
All right, so this got a lot of play on social media, and you have responded to it publicly. What are you saying about it?
It's totally debunked. Number one, and no one gets citizenship in 6 months, but no one gets 2 driver's licenses in Georgia. We're Real ID compliant. And so we just knew that that wasn't, you know, we knew it was probably foreign, and we've been talking to federal authorities, and they believe it emanated from Russia. So just part of that early wave of disinformation. So we totally debunked it. We jumped on it real quick, and it's not true. It's not supported by the facts.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, in a couple weeks ago, was citing a resident who said that their vote on Dominion voting machines, then it prints a paper ballot with our selections made on the machines. The voter printed ballot had been changed from their selection made on the machine, suggesting that the machine switched it from a Trump vote to a Biden vote. What's the reality here?
Well, as of right now, we're probably well over 3.7 million people that have voted already on the paper ballot system. And I think we've had 2 instances where people claim that. But what we did notice is that sometimes when people will hover over one selection, it doesn't take, and then somehow they press the other one. But as the ballot is printed out, but it hasn't been cast yet, then we tell the voter to please look at your selections. And that's when this lady noticed that it wasn't the right selection. So she went back to the poll manager. They corrected it. They put that down as a spoiled ballot, and she went through the process again, totally unhindered, and then cast the correct selections for all of her choices. At the end of the day, the machines did not flip the votes, but we know that other people have press the wrong button, make those mistakes, and then you can correct it before you actually drop it in the ballot box.
Human error. And finally, the point is in a lot of these states with people like yourself who are being really careful in this election to make sure everything is on the up and up. I mean, the problems that we're hearing about are being highlighted and found by people like you and the people who work in your office and are being addressed, right?
Correct. Yes, people in Whitfield County that ran the elections were quite upset that this had gotten out there because it wasn't. The actual facts were totally different than what had been reported.
Right. All right, Secretary Brad Raffensperger, you're going to have some busy days ahead, but look, it is a good thing for the country that people like you are overseeing the elections, straight folks who aren't looking for partisan advantage, just looking to make sure that whoever the people vote for are the ones who end up getting elected. We appreciate the hard work you do every day.
That's right. Easy to vote, hard to cheat here in Georgia.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.